Hi, and welcome everyone to another edition of Tina's Take on AI. And I am really happy today to have with me Pamela King, and her company's name is TechSense. And, Pamela will talk about her long-standing experience in technology, starting with the emergence of the internet and now AI. And what is so fascinating about the pre-conversations, the warm-up conversations that we've been having is just, how overwhelming the noise is around AI and how people are talking about, what's the right point to adopt this technology, when is it meaningful to revenue, etc. So we're going to talk in a lot of detail about some of those next steps as you introduce AI into your operating systems. But for right now, let me introduce Pamela King. And Pamela, maybe you'd like to talk a little bit about your background and the kinds of projects that you've been involved in, because it's really, really amazing and interesting and very fascinating. So I'll hand it over to you.
It's so great to be here. I'm really happy to be talking to you and to your audience. So I started working with the World Wide Web in the early 90s, really 1994, when it was sort of do we get into the web thing? What is this? I started teaching organizations how to how to use the web, how to use email. I literally taught a class on Netscape 1.0 with, what's the stop button? What's the back button? What is this reload thing? So I've been doing this for a long.
Netscape nowadays.
Correct, right? Nobody knows what Netscape is anymore. I know. Yeah, so I've been doing this for a very long time. I have been sort of working with the idea of digital transformation, right? So
Yeah.
taking our organizations from a very paper-based, one-on-one based environment to a group environment where we use digital to expand our capabilities and to become more and to do things faster and to do things in new ways. And when you translate that into large organizations, you generally have struggles with adoption and strategy and clarity and where to put financial resources and who to hire to help you and how to um, work with people who have different tolerances for change. Change management is an incredibly important part of this. And so
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a very long time, helping as we go through all of these different revolutions in technology that we have been going through over the almost 30 years that I've been working in this, more than 30 years that I've been working in this. And so I think what's relevant is that digital transformation has been scary for the last 30 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's still scary. And it's not about, is this tool going to help me or change my job? It is,
Yeah.
right? It's going to help you. It's going to change your job. It's going to bring intended consequences and unintended consequences. And the real question is, how do we navigate it? And
Yeah.
how do we get the most benefit out of it? No one would tell you today that you shouldn't leave a voicemail message when you call people. Actually, they probably would tell you to text instead of voicemail message
Yeah,
these
yeah,
days. But
yeah.
when the answering machine first came out, we were saying, "Oh my goodness, you left a message," instead of waiting and calling back for that person to answer the
Yeah.
phone. Right? We change the way that we interact because of the technology that comes into our lives, and that's what's needs to happen every time we go through a digital transformation. And we're in the middle of a very large one now, and
Yeah.
it's very different from any other digital transformation we've done because AI is not a tool. It's not an answering machine.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a technology that can really work side by side with us, and that's new, right? We've been the
It's part of the fabric of what we're going to be doing going forward, right? That's kind of how
correct,
everything is going
right?
to change. So one of the
Yeah,
challenges I've heard consistently is ownership, like ownership of the adoption, right? There's like nobody really wants to be in
right,
charge of the ownership of this thing, It's
right,
like,
right, right.
so within organizations, there's that challenge of, how do we integrate it into our operating systems, and when is the right moment to do that? So I don't know if you have any thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I think what we know is the organizations that are the most advanced using AI, the ones who are having the most success, getting the most ROI, really seeing the benefit, are those that have the highest level executives championing the cause and owning it. So if
Yeah.
you ask me who should own adoption, I'm going to tell you the CEO,
Yeah.
right? That's who should
Yeah.
really own it. Those organizations who own it from the top are making amazing strides. Why? Because the CEO can put resources into it. The
Yeah.
CEO puts the strategic emphasis behind it. If the CEO says, we're going to do this, we're going to do it. It's his
Yeah.
company or
Yeah.
her company or
Yeah.
their company, right? We're going to do it. So who should own it? It really needs to come from the very top. Now, who's going to implement it? Well, it can be anywhere. What I like to see is a partnership between technology and some other business unit, whether it's HR or it's marketing or it's sales, so sort of like the technology and that organization that wants to lead on the business side. Different organizations, depending on who they are, have different leaders, but we usually see marketing and sales sort of stepping up and saying, me, I want to go
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's finance. Sometimes it's the numbers guys who really want to go first. Whoever wants to go first, that would be technology's
Yeah.
best partner, because you're
Yeah.
going to be able to have people who take the time to really learn it and
Understand it, right.
try it.
And,
Yeah.
and it's really interesting because as I talk to different organizations, um, the applications are endless, right? Because you can literally apply it to any piece of the business. But
And you should.
you should, I agree. But a lot of times, um, like for example, like we were just talking about, the sales and marketing teams. Like one of the things that we're doing at the Growth Stack is we're building these product intelligence and sales intelligence analytics tools, right? And the sales teams are really I think engaging because they realize that they don't really know what their teams know from a product perspective. Like they might have a superficial knowledge, but what level of depth do they actually understand? Right. That's one.
Right.
But when you think about like just from a CEO's perspective, like the cost savings, the value add, the processing speed, like all of these things that we highlight as being the benefits of AI. I mean, these are tangible numbers. So,
Yep.
they're very tangible. And I'm not talking about, like someone said to me, oh, they're going to replace all these jobs. I said, no. Imagine how valuable you would be to an organization if you knew how to use AI effectively. The challenge is if you don't move your skill set to where the business is going, that's when you become redundant. Not if you can hone your skills to be able to use AI effectively, you become even more incredibly valuable to an organization, in my opinion.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Those people who are going to take the bull by the horns and really learn it and
Yeah.
get into it are the people who are going to lead. And this is not to say that there are jobs that will change. We no longer have switchboard operators, right?
Yeah,
That doesn't
yeah,
exist anymore,
yeah,
right? There are lots of jobs that will change. We will stop doing tasks that AI can do for us, and we will start overseeing them and thinking about how to work in other ways. What if you think about sort of a larger company? Sometimes the hardest decisions are those that go between teams.
yeah,
So on the technology side, when we're talking about agile development and we're talking about how to make things move faster, we break things down into small pieces. But where we always get stuck, and the things that take the most time, is when I have to leave my team and work with another team.
yeah,
And that's true in just about every strategic decision in an organization.
yeah,
It's really clear when we're doing agile development, because what we see is that every time I have to leave my little team and talk to another team, I have to increase the amount of points or the amount of complexity that my story is going to take. So bringing other teams in increases complexity. Well, guess what AI can help us do? AI can help us break down that complexity.
yeah,
Right? AI can help us rethink about how we talk to other teams, or where those inflection points are that we need to interact with other teams, and how can we smooth that out? How can we make it better? How can we improve it? And if you have somebody who is thinking and who has learned AI for themselves and says, now, okay, I want to work with another team, we want to see how we can work together and change how we do things, now you're really valuable to the organization, because what we see is that it's not individual productivity that really improves ROI. It's the organizational team decisions and teams working
Yeah.
together that really improves the ROI. So the more people working together with the AI as not, I don't like calling AI a tool, because it really can't be, you can't think of it the way we think of other tools, but as a partner, the more ROI you're going to bring to your organization. So the more willing you are to think outside the box and think with AI, the more value you're going to bring to your organization.
Yeah, I mean, when I think you and I spoke about how some of these AI platforms are building these collaborative tools within their platforms. So maybe talk a little bit about that evolution, because that's new. I think that's brand new.
It
right?
is new. Well, that's the beautiful thing about this AI growth, is that everything is new all the time. But most recently, in the past 6 months, we've really seen this idea of projects show up in AI tools, and the idea that we're all working together in a space, and the AI is working alongside of us, and the AI becomes a team member. It's so that we get out of these individual boxes, right? So ChatGPT knows my history. Claude knows your history. I prefer one tool over the other, whatever, it doesn't matter. We all decide, okay, hey, we're going to work in this ChatGPT project or this Claude project, or we're going to use this tool together, or this partner of this AI partner, and we're going to start sharing chats and have these things that we input. If you can do something that you know about, and I can do something that I know about, and then we put it into the project and we say to AI, hey, these are these two things that we know about. I got AI to really blow out what I think I can do, and you got it to blow out what you think it could do. Now let's go to AI and say, now synthesize. Right? Figure out what we're missing, where we could really change the way we approach this. We've always done it this way because that's the way a human has to do it, and we have to do it incrementally, logically, whatever it is. But if you brought this overarching way of working that AI can do, and you brought this into the conversation, then maybe we could do it totally different, right? Maybe we could rethink how this is done. Maybe we could just leave a voicemail instead of calling back 17 times. And this is a whole new concept, is maybe we could text, we could write down the voicemail, and you could read it on the device on the other side. Like what? These are new things that we have all experienced over the past 30 years. And my children, when they were born, didn't have text, but those kids will tell you that they've had text their whole lives. They don't know any better. It showed up when they were kids. It's what they know. It's a different way of communicating. My mom couldn't believe I wasn't teaching my kids how to type. They didn't have to go to typing class. They're going to talk text it. They're not going to type, right? They're just going to talk it. So I think this is where technology has helped us in these technological transformations. And so this realization for everyone that they have been through technological transformation over their lifetimes. We have all been through this. We have all been successful at it. We all carry these little cell phones in our pockets. We all know how to use it.
I was going to say the iPhone. Like, I remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blackberries. Remember Blackberry?
Sure. Oh, how I miss that keyboard.
Then all of a sudden, the iPhone came about, and the Blackberry was like, what? Black who?
See ya. Right. Nobody wanted it anymore. Right. No, that's exactly right. And I think that's what's important for people who are worried, who are nervous about technology, is to look back at all of the different technologies they already have adopted. In their lifetimes. Like you can, every one of us has had to adopt new technologies, including the kids who are recently, like the 10-year-olds are adopting new technologies. It's just part of what we're doing. And this is just yet another.
They don't even think about it though, Pamela. Like my kid is 12, right? She doesn't even think about it. It's just like it's like part of her DNA now. It's just like whatever it is.
We're going to change, right?
But it is interesting because when you have conversations with, these are very senior executives, okay? So, or heads of schools, or, like these are authority roles. And they say, oh, I'm using AI. And what they're really doing is they're using chat to write an email. So we're not talking about that. Like,
no, right.
Yeah, like that's great. Don't get me wrong. It's very helpful and handy, right?
Sure.
But we're talking about taking, work streams and improving them, or
Yeah,
taking a fundamental, operating system and trying to, create a more efficient method. That's my take on it. You're the one who's actually
absolutely.
executing, right? So
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
right,
No, well, I think that's what the real message here is that individual fluency is required.
right,
People have to do the simple things. You have to use the AI to help you write an email to learn it. You have to use AI to help you sketch out a project. But once you get some basic individual fluency, you should be working toward the idea of teams, because
yeah,
that's where the value is. How do multiple people work together, use AI as a team, and let AI become a team member? That is where the value shows up for organizations. So it is,
yeah,
if you're letting it write your emails, you're on the path to individual fluency. That does not generate ROI. There's just
yeah.
not enough ROI in individual fluency.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like Google Docs was revolutionary.
Absolutely. What? We could both write in the doc at the
Yes,
same time. I can see where your cursor is. Really?
you leave your comment.
What?
I
Right?
remember
Oh,
that
like,
being like
yeah.
mind blowing. Like, oh wait a sec,
Mind blowing.
we don't have we could work on the same presentation at the same time. Like this is like, are you crazy? This is like craziness, right? And now we're
Craziness,
saying,
right?
hey, let AI. You can write in Gamma like a one sentence, and it'll create this fantastic presentation for you.
The infographics that that Notebook LM is putting out are mind blowing. I mean, an
You mentioned
infographic
that to
or
me. Like, I've been trying to
yeah,
look at it. Yeah,
an explainer video that we used to spend a month on when we needed to do videos for people to do training with. These things are happening in 20 minutes,
oh
like
my god.
instead of a month. It's outrageous what
Yeah,
AI can do. And so what's really important is that we figure out how to leverage what this new tech can do and help us grow value. And it is absolutely imperative, because if we don't, somebody else will. Like if
right.
we as a company are not
Yeah,
leveraging it, then the company who is our biggest competitor, who is leveraging it, will absolutely swallow us, and we will
yeah,
cease
yeah.
to exist.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been sort of a theme I've been also touting is that, you know, it's like you cannot be the last guy on the block to figure this out. Like it's going to be way too late. Like you're
Right.
the erosion, and I think I did a whole graphic about the erosion in in the value of your companies. It's just it's like, and it accelerates over time, right? So it's like
Right.
you're basically, you're the value of your company, you just lost 30% of your value by being even like a year later than everybody
Yes.
else. It's not
Yeah.
even, you could be at 50% by the time that, in just 2 years. It's just the speed of the adoption is really, I think, one of the things that nobody's really talking about yet. Like adoption is really the challenge, right? We all
Yes.
kind of recognize
The,
that
right. The tech is
adoption is
here.
the
It's
challenge,
yeah.
but the erosion in net worth is so
Right. Because
real
you
that
yes.
at some point I think it's there's a wake up call there somewhere to say, the company's devalued 50% because I didn't do this fast enough.
So I think a really interesting example of this is pharmaceuticals. So think about how long clinical trials take for a pharmaceutical company to get a drug, or even not even clinical trials, but like let's talk about getting a drug from where you think it might work to the point where you can put it into a human. Well, that's a period of anywhere from 7 to 15 years for some companies.
Yeah,
If you can reduce that, and some companies are, to 1 year,
yeah, that's massive.
and your competitors are still using that 7 to 20 year time cycle, and you're
Yeah,
doing it in a year,
yeah,
imagine how far ahead you're going to get
yeah,
compared to what your competitors are doing. And that's happening in every industry, is
right.
that somebody out there has figured this out, has figured out the enterprise ROI, the complex ROI that comes from getting multiple people to rethink how they're working together.
Yeah.
Because the reason we don't have, if you are a company of one, individual fluency is fantastic.
Yeah,
Great,
yeah,
you win.
yeah.
But if you are a company of 10 or 100 or 100,000,
Yeah.
you need, the reason you have that many people in your company is because you need teams to work. You need teams to get the work done. So therefore the AI has to be helping you at the team level.
Right.
And it has to be helping you today. You have to get to that point. So you've got to get everybody to jump on the individual fluency and then put them immediately into an environment where they can learn as a team.
So if anyone is listening today and they want to take one practical step forward in AI, like what do you recommend?
I recommend putting a team of people from multiple groups into a room and trying to solve a problem. Pick one problem.
Yeah.
Just a simple, hey, listen, we have to wait 3 weeks to get a response on this thing.
Yeah.
How could we get that down to 3 hours or 3 minutes? So that we could, so everybody brings their expertise to the room. We all sit with AI. We work in a project and we try to figure out, and we let AI help us and work with us on how do we solve this one problem. And when you get good at solving one problem, you can get good at solving two.
Yeah.
And then you can continually learn.
I see that mistake, or I haven't seen it, but I've heard about the mistake where the CEO goes, I want to change everything, and then it fails, right? Because you have to do it in a progressive manner, it seems.
Well, and I also think that's really important about adoption of any technology. It's, adoption takes time. Fluency takes time.
Yeah.
You're not going to put someone through a 2-hour training class and expect them to come out fluent.
Yeah.
It's what are you doing for 30 minutes a day? What are you doing for 30 minutes a week? Whatever it is, whatever your timeline is, but consistency and repeating the process and getting better and better and better. That's how you learn, and that's how we make transformation. I mean, it's just a new kind of digital transformation, but it doesn't happen. Matt, think about when we first learned to use the iPhone and we couldn't quite figure out how to click on the buttons and how to make them bigger.
And then they changed the buttons.
And then they change it, and then it just works differently.
And then they change it. They're like, damn.
And that is very true in AI. Because AI is changing
moving so fast,
rapidly.
Yeah, it's like
right. So we just have to. It's fluency requires continued attention, and it requires time, and that time has to be built in. So CEO was not going to say to their team, "Go learn AI on your own time, and then come back and make my company better." No, that's not how it's going to work.
Yeah.
You have to create the space. You have to make it formal. You have to create these opportunities and push it through. And the time that you block off now is going to lead to your exponential ROI later.
Yeah, makes sense. So as we wrap up, are there any final thoughts? I mean, I think, TechSense, what does your ideal client look like? Like when you think about the implementation that you do?
Right. Yeah. Thanks so much for asking. Our ideal clients are larger companies, mid to large companies who are trying to figure this out, whether we're helping you with AI adoption through individual fluency into teamwork, whether you've done a couple of projects and now you need to strategically figure out how to do the change management and how to roll it out, whether you're trying to figure out where we should bring in vendors versus doing it in-house. We consider ourselves as a boutique strategic consultancy. So we help you with the strategy around this transformation. And sometimes that's change management, sometimes it's training, sometimes it's vendors, sometimes it's all of the above.
Yeah. Well, it's fascinating. And I think the next 12 to 24 months is going to be a wild ride, frankly. And one that I'm really excited about. I think it's an incredible time to be involved in AI. And implementation is really the key. And the fact that, you're helping companies identify, which work streams to streamline how to do it, how to build the teams effectively. That's at the forefront of really the adoption challenge, right? So congratulations on really honing in on that piece of it, because every time you talk to CEOs, they they're getting pressure from boards to do something,
Right.
but they don't really know where to start. And so
Yeah.
having companies like yours come in and say, okay, where is your greatest pain point? And then let's try to figure out if that makes sense to address, or is it something, tangent to it that we can sort of start with. So I think those are like really important conversations to be having right now.
They are. They really are. And those companies that are not having those conversations are those that are going to miss out.
Yeah.
So every company should be having those conversations.
Well, thank you. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, yeah, I think this is great. I think if people want to reach out to me, I'm available on LinkedIn. I'll give you the link and my email address. Our website's in the middle of undergoing transformation itself, so it's a little thin today, but it'll be more robust a little later on this month. And we're just happy to help anybody who wants to get a jump start. I think that's a really important time to develop fluency among your teams.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with me today and joining us on Tina's Take on AI. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon. So if you could hold on a moment while I wrap up, and then we'll put your contact information in the description.
Okay.
Okay. Hang on a second.